biggest loss in school history. Suddenly, the high-flying attack that was MIA in December is back. Buckle up. It's Gonzaga basketball next.
Competitive West Coast Conference for 08-09, and that means every game has major significance. San Francisco on the road tonight to play at Gonzaga in the McCarthy Athletic Center, where Gonzaga has only lost 3 games in 5 years, and that's a big reason why right there. And it's nice to see everyone. Gonzaga's 3-game skid well in the rearview mirror now. They're looking for 4 in a row tonight. Greg Heister and Craig Elo. And Craig, Gonzaga, well, I guess the energy is back, isn't it?
The energy is back, and they had an outstanding effort against Santa Clara the other night. And it was led by Austin Day, who led 5 players in double figures. They were really sharing the ball and moving the ball around, and when you do that, look what you shoot from the field, 55%, and their defense was outstanding again. They shut John Bryant out. He's one of the best players in the WCC, and he was a non-factor in that game.
San Francisco has just 8 wins this year, but they've got stability. They've hired head coach Rex Walters now in his first season, and Craig, he does offer them stability. It was a tumultuous 12 months prior to his arrival.
It's called a soap opera.
Yeah,
that's what it is, a soap opera, and it was. Eddie Sutton was in quest of 2 victories to get 800, but now Rex Walters enters this traditional program as a 12th head coach.
And they've got a player that there isn't a coach in this league wouldn't want on his team. Dior Lohorn. He can score from anywhere on the floor.
He really does, and he's a great big post scorer. He loves to catch the ball on the block and face up. And as you see, he leads the WCC in scoring right now at 20.4. But this guy can shoot from outside too, so don't take him for granted. A 48% shooter from three-point land. He's going to be a tough matchup for the Zags.
Yeah, he's the real deal. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to break. We'll get you tonight's starting lineup in the tip-off when we come back. The city of Spokane and the rims are still rattling from that dunk against Santa Clara. We'll be back.
Inland Imaging is the Northwest leader in diagnostic medical imaging and is proud to be the official medical imaging provider for Gonzaga Athletics. Inland Imaging, making a difference in people's lives. Well, another full house at the McCarthy Athletic Center in Spokane, Washington. West Coast Conference game number 4 for both Gonzaga University and the University of San Francisco. The starting lineups being announced here right now, so we'll take a look at the starting lineups as well. First, for San Francisco, this is a very young team, 5 freshmen for head coach Rex Walters. And of course they have Dior Lohorn in the middle, but there you see Kwame Vaughn, Peter Smith, Blake Wallace, Angelo Colorio, and Dior Lohorn. Head coach Rex Walters in his first season with an 8-10 record, probably the best win of the season at Boise State, but they are 0-3 to start league play. And this team still trying to find itself. Of course, he's in his first season, so he doesn't really have his players yet, and this team doesn't have his signature on it as well, as of yet. For Gonzaga, it'll be Jeremy Pargo, the reigning West Coast Conference Player of the Year. Matt Bolden, Stephen Gray, Austin Day, and Josh Heitfeld will be starting at center again for Gonzaga. This has been the starting lineup since their win at Tennessee, when Gray was inserted into the lineup for Micah Downs. Head coach Mark Few in his 10th year, 247 wins, 64 losses. And Craig Elo, Gonzaga, as good as they are this year, they cannot afford any losses because of the way San Diego and St. Mary's are playing. Those 2 teams are on top of the West Coast Conference as well.
Yeah, they started out with a bang too. They played very well, and I tell you what, you're exactly right. They cannot take any team for granted. Even USF, who's in a transition period right now, with the head coach Rex Walters bringing his system in, do not take anything for granted. Be the assassins they were the other night, and win by 42.
Gonzaga leading the all-time series 38-19, but USF has not won in Spokane since 1989, and Gonzaga has won 19 of the last 20 overall. So they're up against it tonight with a young team and without any history of success for a very long time in Spokane. But that's why they play the games, ladies and gentlemen. Here's Austin Day inside to Heitfeld. Ball stripped away. The triple team actually came to stop Heitfeld. And now up is Peter Smith, number 3, who gets the start for San Francisco, along with Blake Wallace, number 2, is also out there. There's Lohorn. He's a 49% shooter from the 3 line. There's a turnover.
Now, that's kind of expanded because he doesn't shoot that many. But if he's out there, you do have to guard him because he's able to make the shot, just like we're accustomed to Josh Heitfeld making the shot from out there.
Now there's controversy on who the ball belongs to. And it should be Gonzaga ball. It was clearly not deflected by a zag, but instead it stays with San Francisco. And of course that happened right in front of the GU bench. So the coaches got a first-hand look at that one. And there's the lay-in. And that's good by number 1, Kwame Vaughn.
Now Kwame Vaughn, a freshman, talking with Rex Walters today, really enjoys the way the young man plays. He's very aggressive. But when WCC started, he kind of got into that freshman mode. So he hasn't been as aggressive as they want him to.
Day underneath. We're tied at 2. Austin coming off that 20-point effort the other night against Santa Clara. Really got it going in the second half.
Well, we mentioned all 5 starters are in double figures, and Austin led everybody the other night with 5 players in double figures, but it was because of the ball movement, and on that possession, you saw great ball movement.
3-point attempt is no good by Peter Smith, freshman out of Escondido, California. Here's Bolden.
Oh, it went in.
It doesn't count, though. It hit the top of the glass first. Blow it dead. And Matt Bolden will go back on defense. And what a great time to announce this.
Go ahead.
Matt Bolden's 21st birthday. Elo, if you want to sing, go ahead.
Happy birthday to you.
Oh. Okay, Elo, that's good. Thanks.
Hey, they should have gave him that three-pointer then. That's a perfect birthday gift.
Every viewer across the Northwest turns this off. That's good. Thank you.
So you're saying don't go to Nashville?
No.
Okay.
Lohorn misses his first attempt.
Yeah, Dio Lohorn, he's going to have to, the team is going to have to make him take tough shots because he's a very good shooter.
Pargos made eye contact with Heitfeld, just didn't execute it well enough. Smith again from 3. Rebound by Colorio. Kick it out on top. This is Vaughn for 3. That's no good. Heitfeld with a rebound. San Francisco 1 of 5 to shoot this, to open this game. Gray from 3. That's long.
Well, the GU defense has one thing going for them this year. It's that they've always been very good making the other team shoot bad shots, but not like that one by Blake Wallace.
Yeah, he's a 35% shooter from 3, and he gives San Francisco the lead with their second field goal.
You know, it was very unusual watching San Francisco warm up. Blake Wallace hardly took a shot. He rebounded for everybody and passed out, but you can tell he's got good form. He just approaches the game a different way.
Nice look to Austin Day. The one thing that Rex Walters did tell us today at shoot-around, that obviously he knows his team is struggling. They're young. He does not quite have the players into his system yet that he wants. He said, but they will be physical. They will bump all game or else they'll come out.
Yes, he definitely made that point straight to us that if he does not see his players out there competing on every possession, then they will definitely be taken out of the game.
And Rex Walters knows about competing, Craig. This is a guy who, at Kansas, led his team in scoring his junior and senior years for Roy Williams, and then was the 16th overall pick in the '93 NBA draft. He was a good one at this level.
He was, and if you really want to call it what it is, he was an overachiever. And he had a 7-year career in the NBA because he did that.
Long rebound off the miss. Can Gray catch up from behind? He does, and strips Peter Smith. Great defense by Gray. Great hustle.
Yeah, coming up from behind and knocking the ball away, and that's a great effort because he never quit on the play. Smith never knew Stephen was back there. He was running stealth.
Smith with it. A walk-on, earned a scholarship for the second semester. I don't think I've heard of that before. Usually the walk-on will be a walk-on for the whole year, but by the time the second semester started at San Francisco, he had earned his scholarship.
Well, when your dad's one of the best players to don a Don uniform, Phil Smith, they can do things like that.
Foul inside. This is on Gonzaga.
Yeah, Peter Smith is the youngest sibling of Phil Smith, who had a great career at San Francisco.
A foul on Stephen Gray is first. Manny Quezada checking into the ball game. This is a senior for Rex Walters, and now he's not the average player coming off the bench, averaging 11 points a game. He can really shoot it. As there's a shot in and out by Wallace, but Quezada's had a hard time this year fitting into the Walters system too.
Well, again, you got a new coach.
As Heitfeld off on the 3 attempt.
And he's trying to implement his own system and things. Seniors often get overlooked. But he still uses Manny in a variety of ways, and Manny's been very generous going to the bench and coming off of it when he's been used to being a starter.
Neither team shooting well from behind the arc. 1 of 9 overall. Here's Quezada with the basketball to the post. Lohorn faces and shoots over Heitfeld, and San Francisco with a 5-point lead at 7-2.
Well, that's what Lohorn does great, stepping away from the post. Got to get a double team down there, make him get the ball out of there.
Bolden fakes the pass, shoots, won't get the roll. Tip back, Stephen Gray. That was a great tip by Gray.
Yeah, great timing. Saw the ball softly come off, and it was Stephen Gray's hand that tapped it back in.
And give him credit for coming from his wing position for that rebound, that tap in.
Yeah, flew in there, found a seam in that 2-3 zone, and got to the rim.
Quezada earns the trip to the free throw line. Foul called here on Austin Day. So now both teams with 2 personal fouls. San Francisco with a 3-point lead early. As we look at the birthday boy, a little short on his shot, but Stephen Gray there to make sure it gets through. 7-4 in Spokane.
The January sales event at Tough Shed. Get up to $2,000 off a garage through January 31st. We build year-round, and now's a great time to buy. Tough Shed garages and storage buildings, coast to coast. Call 1-800-BUY-TOUGH or visit toughshed.com.
By Papa Murphy's on Gonzaga game days for the Slam Dunk Deal. Get a large 3-topping pizza for only $8.99. Papa Murphy's Take and Bake Pizza. Handmade in our kitchen. Home baked in your oven. Now there's Stephen Gray. Got into the scoring column there on our play right before break. He was one of the 5 Zags in double figures the other night against Santa Clara. As a team, Craig, probably their best effort of the year.
Yeah, it was impressive. I thought the ball movement on the offensive end was, everybody was willing to share the wealth, share the rock, and it worked out perfectly because we mentioned that they shot 55%. But
Manny Quezada hits the first free throws. You look at Gray the other night.
And it was Stephen's 3 balls that got the Zags off to a good start. And that's what you want. And in the big dunk by Stephen, we didn't think he could make that dunk. He was so far into the basket.
Quezada hit both free throws. It's a 9-4 game. They try to go inside to Heitfeld again. Great catch, and he earns a trip to the free throw line. Talking about that dunk by Stephen Gray the other night, doing some research after the game, Stephen has a 42-inch vertical leap, according to Jeremy Pargo, who has like a 37-inch. Now, right before this game, I asked Ira Brown, what is your vertical leap? And he told me, he says, it's been 46.
Woo!
Elo, now,
That's
you
big
know
time.
about world-class athletes. 42-inch vertical leap is an amazing jump.
Yeah.
Ira at 46. There is a very, very small fraction of a percentile of people walking this planet with that kind of vertical leap.
Yeah, I only knew one, Spud Webb. You know, the 5'7" guy that won the dunk contest in the NBA. He had like a 48 inch vertical. Yeah.
And
but I always thought he cheated. I thought he got a running start.
a travel there by Quezada. Yeah, Ira straight up, 46 inches. He also has that 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah, but you don't know where that's going.
Yeah, that's very, very true, but he's still got a 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah, no, that's quite an athlete, and the athletic dunks that he had the other night earned him a spot.
But I think I was more amazed at the fact that Stephen Gray had a 42-inch vertical leap, and why we're not seeing more dunks and crazy jams from him. I think we could in the future. Just a sophomore at Gonzaga. This 42-inch, I mean, there's, again, that's a very small percentile of people that have that kind of vertical leap.
Yeah, you don't want to be known as the Kleenex dunker. That's what
Right.
I told you, where you can slide a Kleenex under.
Pargo, open three, dead on, just a little long, tipped around, tipped back. Downs was there, so was Gray, tipped into the corner. This is Quezada for USF.
Well, San Francisco, I think, doing a really nice job in their 2-3 zone. No one's just standing back in it. They're very actively guarding people, and it's causing some problems for the Zags trying to bust it.
And we've got a whistle. Problem with the shot clock, it never started. During that whole possession, either it reset or it was never going. It's still at 35. As we look at our officials, Bruce Hicks, Mike Partlow, and Chad Johnson, they're on top of things here. James Morgan, number 23, into the game there for USF. He's a senior out of Seattle, played at Rainier Beach. And also number 21, Christian Hernandez, into the game. Evidently, they're having trouble with the shot clock and getting it to move, period. Which would be a real problem, because if it's the game clock, the official can keep it with them and still play the game. But if the shot clock doesn't move, that's a real issue, Craig.
Well, they're going to have to go back to the old days when they brought the shot clock into the game and put it, a little portable one, down in the corner.
And so the officials converge here, and we'll try to figure it out. Unless they're not over there looking at the monitor for some reason, are they?
Well, if the shot clock is working and it didn't look like the game clock either was moving, that maybe they're comparing the two, so when it should or where it should be, or the shot clock should be, compared to the game clock.
Or are they checking to see if a ball hit the rim? I don't think there was a shot up on that last possession yet, was there?
Not during USF's possession, no.
Right.
But once they got it, it should have been off at 35.
Right.
And so obviously with no shot in their possession, then it's got to be below that.
So they're trying to figure out how many seconds to take off.
Oh, this is a family atmosphere.
Sure is.
Family oriented.
All right, both clocks moving. 17 now on the shot clock. 14 minutes to play first half. This is Kwame Vaughn, number 1 with the ball into the corner to Wallace. To Quezada. Morgan sets the screen. Quezada open jumper, and that one rattles through. And San Francisco with a 7-point lead, the largest of the game.
Yeah, Manny Quezada, remember, he's from New York, so he's brought that East Coast style of basketball, that playground type of basketball to the Bay Area. And if you let him get going, he's a streaky shooter.
And I guess being told we just lost the signal a moment ago, so we apologize for the technical difficulties. I hope things are clear for you now.
I think the USF 2-3 matchup zone is causing some problems right now.
Micah Downs, great save, but right to number 21, Christian Hernandez for USF.
I'm telling you, the Dons are really hustling on the defensive end, contesting everything Gonzaga's throwing at them.
Hernandez from 3. And ladies and gentlemen, it is a 10-point San Francisco lead with 12:50 to play in the first half. And the last 11 Gonzaga possessions, 8 misses, 1 turnover, 2 missed free throws, Craig. It is the inconsistency of this team. Just 2 nights ago, we saw them with maybe their best effort. And again, they're a bit stale here to open this game.
Yeah.
What is the difference?
Well, the difference is I totally believe when you hit your first couple of shots like they did against Santa Clara, remember Stephen Gray made a couple of 3 balls, they built themselves up a lead, it totally changes your mindset and you get into a really good rhythm. And I think right now, credit USF for taking the Zags out of that rhythm, because they have yet to find a way to get the ball inside. They've tried what? How many lob passes that have not worked? and the outside shots. Bolden's missed a couple, and I think Stevens missed a couple. So USF is doing a really good job of taking the Zags out of what they did the other night against Santa Clara.
Yeah, both teams did not start start shooting in this game very well. A lot of misses. But now San Francisco is 42%. Quezada got him going. And Gonzaga shooting 2 of 10 for the game. So they're at 20%. Downs. 3 ball. That's pure from the corner. 14-7.
And that's what it takes. It only takes one shot to get the rest of the team going. And Micah really did a nice job standing there, waiting for the ball, catching it, and shooting it. Maybe that's the start for the Zags.
And you can say what you want the other night against Santa Clara about Gonzaga's offense. I thought it was really the defense that was so impressive, and that's just pure energy. And a foul called here. Oh, this is on USF. This will go against number 23, James Morgan. His first 4 on San Francisco.
Well,
actually, they give it to Christian Hernandez, 21.
Okay, well, I thought the Zags did a nice job on Quezada, though, on his pick and roll with Morgan, because Quezada is so good at getting around the corner. Josh showed Matt Bolden was guarding, went right on his hip and got there. I didn't see where I was watching the ball. I didn't see what Christian Hernandez had done to draw the foul.
Day. Oh, 2 threes in a row for Gonzaga. And just like that, a 10-point lead down to 4.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? 2 shots, 10-point lead down to 4. Oh,
and it's stripped by Pargo. Oh, behind the back, and he draws the foul. And now Pargo's into his teammates saying, let's go.
Yeah, what a defensive effort on Pargo. Just was riding the young man, Kwame Vaughn, down the floor and then turned him at the one time. And when he turned, you don't turn your back on Jeremy Pargo, because this is what happens. And then look, he's deja vu, Tennessee, but gets fouled. Go to the line.
Well, Greg Heister and Craig Elo were courtside at the McCarthy Athletic Center in Spokane, Washington. San Francisco, USF, with an early 4-point lead on Gonzaga, but moments ago it was a 10-point lead. Gonzaga hit a couple of threes, and they've drawn it to 14-10. Jeremy Pargo, one of the great players now in the history of the West Coast Conference, the reigning WCC Player of the Year. Craig, he's growing and going up the list as far as all-time assist leaders in the league. Now at number 10. And you see he'll be number 9 here soon.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the list in my book here. And Matt Santangelo from Gonzaga's number 3. Blake Steps, number 5. John Stockton, number 8. So the Zags really making their mark on the assist column in the WCC, having that many players in the top 10.
And he now needs 7 more points to become the 27th leading scorer in the history of Gonzaga. Going ahead of Jared Davis. Jared is sitting at 27th now with 1,054 points. Pargo with 1,048 with that free throw. Lowhorn going for the dunk, and it's blocked by Heitfeld.
And Heitfeld made the mistake of letting Lowhorn slip the screen, but he stayed with him and caught up.
Downs off on the 3, but it was a good look. Quezada, Lowhorn, fake on Heitfeld, drives, short jumper is good. And Lowhorn now with 4 points. And Pargo right back for Gonzaga. Spins, kick out to Bolden. Today now to Downs, inside Heitfeld. Deflected away by Dior Lowhorn.
Lowhorn did a nice job getting around in front of Josh Heitfeld, but there's the slip. But look, Josh doesn't quit, chases Dior down and blocks the shot. So that's excellent effort on the defensive end, because a lot of times when you get beat, what do? You just quit on the play. Josh didn't quit on the play.
Pargo getting a rest. Dimitri Goodson, the freshman out of Spring, Texas, in there for Gonzaga now. Number 3, Bolden driving, lay-in, and it's a 3-point game. Bolden with his first bucket of the game.
It's not quite a 2-3 zone like we're used to seeing a zone. Guys are getting out, so when they get out, you can spread them out a little bit. That time, the defense was spread out too far, and Matt found a seam that led him right to the rim.
Blake Wallace with it, number 2, into the corner to Lowhorn. Heitfeld certainly has a size advantage on Lowhorn. Boy, there's some good offense there. Lohorn with a lay-in.
Yeah, he caught the ball originally too far and out of his comfort zone, went out and screened, and when he did, Heifeld jumped and doubled, and the rotation was too slow, and Dehorn got a really good feel for the game. He went right to the rim.
Heifeld off badly on that three. Goodson with the rebound, now looks for help. Got it to Heifeld, Bolden into the corner, down from three! Micah Downs now with 6 points.
And Micah doing a nice job coming off the bench, and what you want to do when you come off the bench is change the game in some way, and Micah's first shot got Gonzaga off their snide and started them rolling on the offensive end.
We had a 5-second call there on USF. We should point out, Rex Walter showed up at USF in San Francisco, and the first thing he did was bring back the old logo.
Yeah.
Kind of the look of the days in the 1950s when this program won an NIT championship, which in the 1940s was in essence the national championship, and then they won 2 NCAA titles with Bill Russell in the 50s.
Yeah, 55 and 56, great team. Casey Jones was on that, Bill Russell. Of course, they went on to Boston and played, but yeah, they went with the U period, S period, F period, and that was the old style that won them championships, and Rex Walters, being a fan of basketball and a traditionalist, decided to do that.
Pump fake by Day, and then he drops it in from 17 feet out.
Pretty impressive when a 6'11" guy can pump fake a guy off of his feet.
This is Wallace for three. That one's off. Bolden now on the move. Goodson to his right. Bolden fakes, and now kick out to Day. 3 ball. Good!
Well, again, the defense makes USF take a quick shot, and then they get the rebound. GU gets the rebound and takes off on the other end, and Austin Day catches the ball from Matt Bolden in rhythm, and he just knocked one down from the previous possession and knocks another one down.
Hernandez at the top of the board. Gonzaga on a 17-4 run, Craig. They've done it with a 3-point shot, or at least the attempts. 13 out of their 18 shots in this game from behind the arc.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, it's because of what the USF defense has given them. The swing pass from one side of the floor to the other makes it too quick for the defense to recover. The skip pass over the top, and that's what GU's done. Because they're in a zone, now they're out of it, they're playing man-to-man because GU was doing such a good job skip passing over the top.
They're 4 of 12 from behind the arc, but they missed their first 6. So they're now 4 of their last 6.
Well, that's a mark of a good team, not worrying about their percentage and to continue to shoot and put the pressure on the defense.
Lohorn guarding Day. Good defense there, but Day hits the shot. That was great defense by Lohorn.
Yeah, he was right there. Even on the hard dribble Austin took, Lohorn was able to get his hand in his face, but Day, using that size, gets the shot over the top of him and then blocks the shot in the corner on Peter Smith.
Yeah, Day averaging 2 blocks a game. And now Goodson trailing to Gray. Downs in the corner again. That one's off the front of the rim. He was knocked to the floor. No call. Ira Brown had it. He and Smith battle, and Goodson runs it down for Gonzaga. Goodson into the middle, goes up strong, and there's a blocking foul called.
Well, we're not pressed for entertainment right now, are we?
I guess
a lot of action.
7:27 to go. Gonzaga has grabbed the lead by 5. And Martin Luther King Day was established as a national holiday in the U.S. in 1986. We will celebrate that day on Monday.
And I got to tell you, I've been to Memphis, and I know the Gonzaga Bulldogs have been to Memphis, and the hotel where Dr. King was assassinated is the exact same way it was on that day. The coffee cups, everything, the shag carpet. I mean, it's quite a little tour. If you go to Memphis, make sure you stop there.
Yeah, you have to stop and see it. And from MLK Day on Monday, kind of seemed like it's Austin Day's day today, isn't it? 12 points. He's got the block. And look at the way he's climbing the block list here.
Yeah, there's some big guys in front of him, Turioff, Calvary, and Gord. But Austin Day, he does it in a different way. He kind of sets the guy up and then uses his length, catches up and blocks the shot. Those other guys, the Gords and the Turioffs, they kind of used their bodies and stayed right in the lane and blocked them. So Austin does it a different way than the leaders do.
Austin tied with Corey Violet right now for the Gonzaga blockless. 7:27 to play. Goodson 1 of 2 from the line, and we get a timeout in the corner. Gonzaga trapped number 1 Kwame Vaughn in there, the freshman out of Oakland, and left him no options.
Well, I got to tell you, Rex Walters, he played for some great coaches. Roy Williams at Kansas, Chuck Daly for the Nets, Larry Brown for the Sixers, and Pat Riley as a Heat. So that's got to frustrate him when he knows that Gonzaga's going to press and they throw it straight to the corner. I mean, he has such good knowledge of the game that he knows that that's where you can't go. And the first thing he did was there was 2 Dons that were just turning their heads and ran down the floor. That was the first thing he did in the 30-second timeout, was come out and say, where are you going? Where is your basketball IQ? Freshman getting pressed. Why are you turning your backs and running? You got to come back and help. So I don't think you'll see that mistake again where they throw the ball in the corner, because you get trapped there, you're in trouble.
Here you see Austin Day's numbers. He's got 12 points, but he's perfect from the floor. 5 of 5 shooting, 2 of 2 from the line. And prior to that Goodson free throw, he had scored 7 straight points for Gonzaga. They have a 6-point lead on USF.
Picking up where he left off the other night.
This is Quezada with it. Lohorn coming out to set the screen. Dante Bryant, number 11, into the game now for USF as well. 10 on the shot clock. There's Quezada with the much larger Austin Day. Quezada looks at the clock and then shoots it. And I think everybody in this arena knew that he was going to shoot that ball 5 seconds prior to him shooting. And you knew Day was going to block that, as we have a whistle inside, Craig. I mean, he telegraphed that for 5 seconds.
Yeah, and it's this much smaller player, but and Austin used his length to create that space where Manny couldn't get away from the shot, and Austin's just long arms got himself a block and moved him up to 4th now in front of Corey.
And Day at the free throw line. But when you're an offensive player, you have to understand that the term mismatch is not in your favor when it's a mismatch for the defense. I mean, when you're Manny Quezada, you're 6'3", and Austin Day is 6'10", 6'11".
But he's
your
quick
chances
enough
of shooting that over him are not good.
You better put the ball on the deck and go as far as you can. I mean, that's what little guys, that's their dream, is to get a mismatch like that so they can use their
around him.
Yeah, but if you just pull up in front of them and shoot it, you're going to get it blocked most of the time.
22-4 run now for Gonzaga.
Oh,
it was a 14-4 lead for USF. Gray with a steal. Day, Goodson. Working on Smith, and now Gray. There's Day. Now he's got a much smaller defender on him. Missed the lay-in. Brown with a rebound, and the putback for Ira Brown.
Yeah, there was some good rotation by the Dons on the defensive end, but Peter Smith is the guy that rotated over on Austin Day, and there's the mismatch there. He took him straight down.
Wallace from 3, and that quiets the crowd. His second hit shot from behind the arc. He's got 6, and it's a 7-point game.
It's amazing, that 3-point shot, how it can keep you in a ball game.
Bolden for 3. Quezada kept it alive, and Lohorn grabbed it. And now Quezada will try to get around Goodson. That's not going to happen. And now the senior out of New York, got it to Wallace. He drives, teardrop, no good. Put back, tipped around, grabbed by Day. This really wasn't a putback, was it? It was knocked back to the rim by one of the Zags. Day faked the 3, in a foot and a half, and buries it. Austin Day with 16 points.
It's one of the best moves in basketball, and it doesn't get used as much as it should. The shot fake. You're talking about a 6'11" Austin Day, shot faking someone off of his feet and then taking a step in and knocking the shot down.
And Quezada's blocked again, this time by Gray. 42-inch vertical leap. And you can feel the energy from the Zag team. It's come back. You can feel it really on the defensive end. Craig, that's what's been interesting to see this year. Over the last decade, it's all been about offense at Gonzaga, just pure, flowing, beautiful athletic movement. This year, a lot of that movement is coming off of great defensive plays.
Well, they've asked them at practice to get up and contest everybody, make them put it on the floor, and just
have the trust of your teammates that they got your back. So if someone does get around you, and I think that's what GU has taken to, because their defense has extended beyond it used to be right at the free throw line, and maybe that was as far as they went, but now they're out beyond the three-point line guarding people. We saw Austin Day the other night guarded a smaller guy out front, and that's because he's got the trust of his teammates back there, knowing that if I do get beat, someone is back there to help me, and that's what's been tremendous about the way GU has been playing defense this year.
And if you're a defensive-minded player and your offense takes a night off, defense rarely does.
No. You fill up your tank on the offensive end, and you expend all your energy on the defensive end. That's what coaches ask you to do. And you know, the great scorers, it's just the opposite.
Yeah.
They fill up their tank on the defensive end, rest down there. But Coach Few and the staff have gotten this team into buying into expending everything on the defensive end and letting the defense create your offense.
Stephen Gray picking up his second personal foul. That's 3 now on Gonzaga. USF was 7, so the Zags in the bonus. Hernandez with it, number 21. Peter Smith driving on Brown into the corner. Lohorn posting up on Gray, so he's got a size advantage underneath. Smith shoots the 3. That's pure from the corner. Peter Smith with 5.
Give him credit, too. I mean, he's had a couple of them blocked over there. He's missed a few of them out there, but he hasn't stopped shooting.
Micah Downs wide open, but Wallace with the block. And now Ira Brown on Lohorn. Kick out. This is Vaughn. That shot is off, and a foul called inside. And this will be against Gonzaga. Possibly Matt Bolden. It is on Bolden. 3:57 to play first half. Gonzaga up by 8. Quezada, Lohorn, fake on Heitfeld, drive. Dior Lohorn off to a 3 of 5 start for 6 points, Greg. And he's the type of player that if he doesn't get off the quick starts, his team's not going. Now, on the flip side, he's battling with Heitfeld, who's 0 of 2 shooting. Gonzaga can afford maybe not to have Heitfeld get off the quick starts from a game-to-game perspective. They need Heitfeld over the season, but USF's Lohorn more important in that matter.
Yeah, Heitfeld has much more of a supporting cast, no question about it. But for the Dons, yeah, Lohorn has to do what he does best, and that's score the basketball. Now, the guy averages 20 points a game. He probably gets, what, 10, 15 looks every time in the first half, same in the second half. So he has to get his team off to a good start scoring the basketball.
There's the deflection off the inbound by Day, but it's kicked around, and Hernandez picks it up for USF. Wallace guarded by Day, and now a whistle inside. This is on USF, and it may be against Lohorn. That'll be his first.
I think they got.
No, they did. They didn't get
Vaughn.
Lohorn. It's
Did
Vaughn.
Yeah, Kalami was running
and that's
through.
his third.
Pushed his defender out of the way. Now with this lineup that Gonzaga has out there, a lot of switching. Anytime there's a screen or a cutter, there's going to be a lot of switching going on because everybody is capable of guarding everybody on the other end.
That's Smith watching Bolden. Ira Brown calling for it inside. USF in that zone defense, Greg.
Yeah, and again, what did Coach Walters tell us at shoot-around? He said if you don't hustle them, then you're going to be coming out of the game. And I think right now USF is doing a really good job not standing still in the zone, which would, you know, a lot of times happens to you in a zone. You just kind of say, I got this area, but no, they're extending their pressure out beyond the zone areas.
Micah Downs once again crashing the boards. Unable to get that tip jam to go. But he'll get his opportunities at the free throw line. 6 points to this point.
Well, let's go back down to the defensive end. Gonzaga now ranked 11th nationally in field goal percentage defensively. They hold an opponents to right around 37%. The last 3 opponents that they've played have only shot 35% combined. And right now, USF is setting at 9 of 24 for 37%. So, you know, the will of the dogs on the one end is being imposed on the San Francisco Dons.
And it's a 10-point lead. Gonzaga's largest lead of the game was 11. USF had a 10-point lead at one time, a 14-4. Near turnover there. But Bryant doing a good job to run it down. Got inside. That's Wallace. And now Vaughn with it. He's got to go out on top to Smith. Lowhorn from 3. Oh, he's a near 50% shooter from there.
Yeah, and again, he takes very minimum shots out there, but when he does, he's pretty accurate.
And he shot 42 times from behind the arc coming into the game. Actually 47 times. So he'll get a couple attempts a game from out there.
Yeah, well, here it is. Percentage of 2-point shots, 83%. So that's when he catches it on the block, and that's Lowhorn. And percentage of threes is only 17%. So, yeah, he steps out there just to surprise you every now and then. But if he does, you better step out with it.
Lowhorn picks up his first personal foul, and Ira Brown is at the free throw line. And I guarantee you there's 6,000 people in this building. And after that dunk the other night against Santa Clara, there wasn't one person who walked through the turnstile tonight that isn't anticipating the same sort of play tonight. So I went to Ira before the game and I said, you know everybody's here to see it, so you better show it.
Can you top it?
Yes.
Can you top that whammy?
He just laughed and walked away.
I asked him the same thing. I said, hey, do you have one that can top it? And if you do, what are you going to call it?
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't call them anything. I just dunk them.
Yeah, at some point in time, they earn a name, right?
Yeah, you know, Daryl Dawkins, very famous for it.
Yeah.
You know, Chocolate Thunder. He had all kinds of names for him.
Downs runs down Quezada from behind. Lined him up and stuffed him. And now Day on the post fighting for the basket. And he earns free throws. But Micah Downs did not slow down from the other end of the court and followed Quezada the entire way.
He brought some great energy. Look at that, just sized him up. Ball's off the backboard, but it doesn't matter. It has to be on its downward flight. And it was not on its downward flight.
You know, there is a new rule this year that I think once the ball hits the glass, you're not allowed to touch it. It's goaltending.
I know, it takes the pressure off of the official.
So we'll enjoy the great athletic play. We'll call it the way it is. And time rolls on, doesn't it?
It happened so fast that it was too fast for the officials to see.
Day got his own miss back and the lay-in.
How does that happen?
It happened.
Shooter should not ever get a putback on his own free throw.
Calerio driving, lost the handle, and it's Gonzaga basketball. And right now, this game has a real chance to get away from USF.
Yeah, there's been some separation, and I'm telling you, if you don't take care of the basketball and you don't do the little things like block out the shooter on one end, this team will bury you.
And you know, when you're Rex Walters, it's those sorts of plays that will really anger you. Because look.
Oh, he just releases. Angelo just released. I'm sorry.
If you don't have the talent to compete, that's one thing. But you don't have to be a talented basketball player to know to put a body on the shooter.
Yeah, and you stay in front of him until your team secures the ball. That time, Angelo just stood in front of him, thought the team was going to get it, and then took off, and look what happened. His man got the rebound and 2 points.
Well, coming up at the half, we'll get you all the latest Spokane news and weather with a KHQ update. On FSN, we'll go back to the studio with Nicole Zalumas and Francis Williams. Craig and I will also bring you all the stats and highlights from the first half in between a hot dog or two. Last 16 USF possessions, 4 turnovers, 9 misses. So after getting off to that great start offensively, yeah, that's really that's interesting. Now I just read the stats the way they're giving to me, but 4 turnovers and 9 misses is 15.
13.
Actually 13. So,
we all get in a rush sometimes.
And our stat guy Brock is the best in the business. Oh, there were 3 makes in there. Okay, 4 turnovers, 9 misses, 3 makes. That's 16. Thank you. And the beauty of it is that I didn't even catch it until someone told me in my ear. Downs from 3. He's feeling it now. And credit his defense for maybe getting the offensive goal.
No question. When you have a big play like he did on that one end defensively, then your offense just comes. You just feel the energy from what you expended on one end and take it to the other end. And he's finally getting comfortable in his role coming off the bench, it looks like, too.
Downs with 11. Lowhorn falling away, no good. Day with the rebound. Quick outlet to Pargo. Heitfeld posting up. out Bolden. This is an open three that's off. And rebound, Manny Quezada. That shot is long by Calerio, but Lohorn with the rebound, put back. He's an impressive player, leading the West Coast Conference in scoring with over 20 a game.
Yeah, and if you're wondering, he's only 6'7", but he weighs 230, but he's got long legs and long arms.
Day hit the side of the glass, wanted the foul. Lohorn with the defense.
Well, and he's not known for his defense. Lohorn will usually back off of you because what's his main forte? He wants to stay on the floor. So you should get the ball. You should go right at him because he might step out of your way and let you shoot.
Travel call there on Blake Wallace. Rex Walters averaged over 15 points a game his junior and senior year at the University of Kansas for Roy Williams. Led his team in scoring, and he was a good player at Kansas. Of course, the 16th overall pick in the NBA draft in '93, but he's tough now. When you go to his practice, it's pretty obvious that I don't know how good USF is going to be in the future, but I'm pretty certain they're going to be tough teams, physically tough.
You know, I gave you that list of his pedigree of coaches that he played for. Guess where his first stop in college was? Valparaiso under Homer Drew.
Yeah. Under 10 to play first half. Pargo to Brown into the corner. Bolden whip underneath. Downs will go to the free throw line. But how about that offense by Gonzaga?
I'd call that bingo, bingo, bongo, because that's exactly where the ball went. Pargo to Brown, Brown to Bolden, Bolden right into open Maka Downs, and then went up strong with the basketball.
But there were several players that I thought had to shoot the ball. There's only 1.3 left on the clock.
Ball moves pretty fast sometimes, doesn't it? Yeah. You try to explain that to your players.
It's true. Yeah. When they're shooting it with 5 seconds on the clock.
Yeah.
It's an eternity.
It is an eternity. From here to eternity.
Micah Downs now with 12 points. Austin Day leading all scorers with 18. But Downs 3 of 7 shooting, 3 of 5 from behind the arc. Perfect at the free throw line with a rebound. And he hits them both. And it extends it to a 14-point lead. That's the largest of this game for Gonzaga. Quezada at the horn, well off. Well, USF got off to that great start, led it 14-4, but since then Gonzaga really heated up on the defensive end, creating some turnovers. USF with 8 in that first half, but it was Gonzaga's shooting that really got it going too. They finished 14 of 31, 45%. Gonzaga turned the ball over just twice, and they have a 1 rebound edge on USF at 20-19. But 45% shooting, I think it's the effort on defense, I think, that we're learning about Gonzaga over this season, that is so much the key to their success.
Yeah, well, the object of the game is obviously to put the ball in the hole. But if you can stop the other team from putting the ball in the hole and get more possessions that way, I tell you what, it leads to fantastic shooting for your team.
Yeah, 5 of 17 from behind the three-point line, but they missed their first 6. So they got better from there as well. Austin Day leading the way with 18 points. Micah Downs with 13. Dior Lohorn with 11 for USF. It's halftime. We'll be back.
It's good to get away.
And welcome back to the McCarthy Athletic Center. Gonzaga with a 43-29 lead. And Craig, it wasn't quite the 52-point effort that they had the other night against Santa Clara, but pretty close.
It was, and I thought the effort started on the defense, and that led to some good shots on the offensive side.
Let's go back to the studio now in Seattle with Nicole and Francis, guys.
All right, thank you, guys. Well, before we get to the highlights, Francis, a quick comment on the first half.
Well, once the Zags figured out that they had to guard the three-point line, they got going. They were down 14-4 early, but they started doing a better job on the defensive end, as Craig said, got the offense going, and so now they've got a nice little cushion at the half.
All right, well, as I said, we have highlights earlier on FSN. The Washington State Cougars facing the Ducks in Eugene. Oregon Ducks winless in the Pac-10, hosting the Cougs today. First half. David Harmeling drives, dishes to Giangelo Castro for the dunk. Cougs on top early, 11-6. Off the steal, Garrett Sim leading LaKendrick Longmire to the hole for the jam. 15 points for Longmire. Ducks cut it to 2. End of the first. Castro down low. Spots the big Aussie, Aaron Baines. Clear space for the hook. 19 points, 12 boards for him. Second half, Cougs pulling away. Harmeling. The alley-oop off the glass, 43-26 WSU. But the Ducks aren't cooked yet. Swan Porter comes alive in the second, drills the three to pull within 9. But Rochester has a career day, hits the three here, 30 points, 7 assists for the senior. Cougars win 74-62. Well, Rochester, thank you. So it's Washington and Oregon State following the Zags and Dons around 7 tonight on FSN. And right now, let's get it back out to the guys calling the game in Spokane, Greg Heister and Craig Elo. And guys, be gentle, because at one point I did call myself a USF Don, all right?
Wow, is that right?
That's right.
Well, you've got a vested interest in the game tonight.
Exactly.
You gotta love Dior Lohorn. Craig, he's the real deal, leading the West Coast Conference in scoring.
He really is. And if there's a knock on his game, the only knock I have is he's averaging 0.7 assists a game. He's going to draw a lot of double teams. He's got to be able to make his opponents look good, get him a good assist. But he's almost a black hole when the ball comes to him.
It's 43-29 at the half. Stephen Gray, nice first half, and a 42-inch vertical lead. Well, they certainly are kings of the West Coast. At least over the last decade, it's been very difficult to beat Gonzaga in this league. And USF down again right now, 43-29. And Dior Lohorn is leading the West Coast Conference in scoring. He's one of the finest players in the league, Craig. And he's got 11 points in that first half. But frankly, if you're going to beat Gonzaga, he's got to drop 30 or 40.
Yeah, it's got to be a huge game from Lohorn. If the Zags just let him get his and stop everybody else, that's been a way to guard a guy that scores a lot of points. But right now, he's got to have a fabulous game to get the Dons back into this game.
The score was 14-4 to start the game. USF with that 10-point lead. Head coach Mark Few calls the timeout, and whatever was said in that timeout worked, Craig.
It was called ball movement, and the ball started moving a little bit better. You saw Micah Downs hit on the one side, Austin Day on the other side, and then this three ball, I mean, all of a sudden a 10-point lead because you knocked down a couple of shots was great, but it was Austin Day who really filled it up for the Zags. 18 points at halftime. He's only 4 away from his career high of 22.
Yeah, that's right. He's got 18, 4 away from his career high. But it really was the defense. They're forcing 9 turnovers of USF that really spurred Gonzaga. Their offense worked, and lo and behold, it is a 14-point halftime lead. We'll be back with more.
Gonzaga leading it by 14 to start the second half. They had just 2 turnovers in the first 20 minutes. In that department, one of their best efforts of this season, shooting 45%. As we take a look at all of the stats, points off turnovers, Gonzaga doing a great job there as well. 8 turnovers for USF, 15 points. And the shooting percentage, 45%. To USF, 36%. Free throw line, they're just getting there more often.
And the one thing I don't think we really hit on really hard was we did mention the matchup between Lohorn and Heidfeld, but Heidfeld 0 for 2 from the field, 0 for 2 from 3, 0 for 2 from the free throw. 0 points, but it's a balanced team. Remember this, it's not just one guy. So the Zags doing a nice job.
Second half straight ahead. We'll be back. Well, there you see and feel and hear the energy here at the McCarthy Athletic Center. That's one of the major reasons why this is the most difficult place to play in America. Just 3 losses in 5 seasons. It's 43-29, Gonzaga leading over USF. And it's also a building in which there's only been one team in the conference come in here and win in 5 years, and that was Santa Clara a few years back.
It sure was, and I think the Dogs did a whooping on them the other night, didn't they, to take that loss from them?
They really did. It'll be USF basketball to start the second half as we look at their leading scorers, led by Lohorn's 11 points, Wallace with 6, Quezada with 4, and they have the ball. Peter Smith, number 3 with it. Now Wallace. Blake Wallace, the junior out of Irvine, California. And this is Vaughn.
The Zags change pace a little bit too. Now they start the second half in a 2-3 zone. It's an extended 2-3 zone. Not as active as USF is on the one end.
Lohorn right over Heidfeld. That was a great entry pass. Just a simple little bounce pass. To the post, Elo. To the post.
Yeah.
Bounce pass to the post.
It had to go through the zone that way, and you're exactly right.
Pargo for three. That might get him going. You can slowly see the confidence coming back in Jeremy Pargo. Well, I shouldn't, maybe not quite slowly, maybe rapidly. Over the last couple of games, Craig, he seems to be back.
Yeah, and again, look at the GU defense. Couple of switches. Austin got put on Vaughn, but he didn't quit on the play, and he made Vaughn take a tough shot.
Bolden driving the baseline and the lay-in.
How about the pass by Stephen Gray? Angelo turned his head and got the ball right. Stephen got it right past him as soon as he turned his head to Matt Bolden cutting down a back door.
Lohorn with Heitfeld guarding. Smith out there now with Heitfeld there as well. Bolden tipped away by Pargo. Pargo with Heitfeld leaves it for Gray. Missed the lay-in. Day tried to put it back, and that's. We're going to follow. Is that illegally touched by Day?
Okay, we're even.
Ball was still in the cylinder.
We're even on the bounce pass to the post. The first one got into Dior, and he scored. The second one got deflected. So,
but we should tell the whole. We're going a couple of games back now.
Way back.
You said that you never go to the post with a bounce pass, and I said you never.
Never.
You said never.
Direct pass right to him.
That was a nice feed down there. The bounce pass,
It works every now and then. We're going to see the percentages, though. We're going to keep it.
We got to get with Coach Jerry Krause to get him to break that down for us. I'm sure he's got numbers tucked away somewhere.
He wants you to inbounds the pass underhand, too. So, yeah, he's got different ways.
Maybe he was a bowler in his previous life or something.
Oh, I'm up on you now. There was a bounce pass, went out of bounds to the post.
Last 40 Gonzaga possessions, 0 turnovers.
There's the good one. He threw it right to him. Dior Lohorn had Heitfeld stuck on his back, got the ball, caught it, and shot. But now
but you still have to execute the pass properly. That was a really bad angle down there.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Deflection there, but right to Day. Skip pass into the corner to Bolden. They're really clogging the middle up here on Heitfeld. He's only taking 2 shots, but it's not all because of his inability to get open. They're really clogging it up. Pargo missed the 3. Lohorn with the rebound.
Yeah, and the problem when you have a player that's averaging 14 points, only has 2 shots, sometimes they disappear on the offensive end and don't get aggressive. Like Josh Heitfeld's got to keep his head on and look for ways to get shots.
Hernandez long on the 3. Heitfeld flying through for the board. Smith doing a good job to stop Pargo there at the line. Pargo got it to Bolden. Now Day inside, working on Lohorn. Lost the handle, got it back, and he puts it in. There's some toughness by Austin Day.
Yeah, perseverance. Stayed with it, got the ball stripped away from Christian Hernandez from behind, but stayed with the ball and then used his athletic ability to get a layup.
I think that's 43 consecutive possessions now by Gonzaga without a turnover. Quezada misses that 3.
Well, you know, that's one of the things they put on their whiteboard also is, hey, value each possession. Now, there's a turnover.
Quezada. And the blocking foul called on Stephen Gray. A chance for 3 for Manny Quezada.
Well, that's Manny Quezada at his best. Remember, he comes from New York, but here's the ball gets behind him. Quezada's playing behind him because he's got help coming down. Christian Hernandez swats it away, and then the playground move. Stephen didn't do much, but he did enough to put his hands in Quezada's, personal space, and that's where the foul was called.
Hard to get down on Austin Day in this game, though. He's 8 of 11 shooting, 4 rebounds, 2 away from a career high. And as a team, they have just 3 turnovers the entire game.
Yeah, that's fabulous. When you take care of the basketball, and value every possession like that.
Pargo just got his thumb jammed. Now he drives the middle. Teardrop short. Heitfeld with the tip jam. There's the big fella.
Yeah, you just got to take what's given to you, Josh, and that's exactly what he saw the ball come off the rim, and he went for the offensive rebound and the putback with a strong slam dunk.
Smith doing a great job there, falling down and able to get the ball to his teammate. Quezada driving, and a foul called on the penetration. This could be on Pargo, number 2. It is. And that'll be number 1 on Jeremy.
Again, the defense is fabulous because everybody's switching, but there's that nice follow-up. Josh kept him reading Jeremy Pargo where his shot was, and then boom.
And it's a 52-34 count. Josh Heitfeld picking up his first points of the game, though, in explosive fashion. The tip jam off the Pargo miss.
But it's just a tribute to the Gonzaga team. There's your leading scorer getting his first basket well into the second half, but yet you got a what? 18-point lead.
Goodson on the floor now for Gonzaga as Pargo gets a rest. And a foul called here on Austin Day. I'm a bit curious because I do not see Jeremy Pargo over there on the bench for Gonzaga. Well, am I missing him somewhere?
Well, that pass that you said that when he hurt his thumb, he wasn't ready for that pass, and I think his deflection was off of his thumb, so he might be back in.
Oh, good point. We'll have to keep an eye on that.
Oh, he didn't go home. He loves the game too much to go home.
And there's Lohorn and Heitfeldt's numbers.
Rebounds are even, but Lohorn's obviously in the points, but Josh doing a lot of other things good for his basketball team. He's not needed tonight on the scoring end. Austin Day and Micah Downs right now picking up the slack.
And there haven't been a lot of opportunities for Heitfeldt inside simply because I think USF is really clogging up the middle. I think they came into the game thinking, okay, let's make Gonzaga shoot it. Yeah. They're coming in as a team shooting well below 40%. Let's make them beat us from outside.
But look at the ball pressure, too. Every time someone has the ball, they got a hand in their face, so it's not easy to make the pass. And
look at Heitfeldt right now.
Yeah, you got man in front of him, man behind him.
Before the shot, foul called here inside, and this is on Heitfeldt.
No.
Trying to clear space. I'm sorry, Lohorn.
3 seconds.
3-second violation.
Yeah, Josh was in there way too long. He got the Blake Wallace was fronting him and then locked and sealed Dior on the middle, but he was standing there too long. He built a fire and put his 10 up.
Shot from the corner is buried by Peter Smith. Smith now with 6 points for USF. And now a foul. This is not a 3-second call. This is a foul on Dante Bryant.
Yeah, Dante Bryant just kind of was trying to impede Josh Heitfeldt from running down, and that's a well-coached team because what does Gonzaga do well with their big guys? Run right down the middle, set in the lane, and try to drop the ball to him. That time Dante Bryant was trying to deter Josh Heitfeldt from getting to the middle of the lane and bumped him, but the official caught it.
Pass to Day, great catch. Another great catch by Heitfeldt and an even better finish. So the big fella now with 4.
Yeah, you want your big guys to dive. As soon as the ball got to the baseline on Austin Day's side, Josh did the right thing, even though the guys collapsed on him, but was very strong with the basketball.
And the turnover, Bolden to the middle, left hand, and put back by Downs, no good. Heitfeldt there, and he's fouled. And he came up angry.
A little frustrated. Remember, he averages 14 points. He hadn't got a lot of looks. And the one chance he gets a look at it, they foul him pretty hard. And it was the littlest guy on the floor, Peter Smith, that did it.
Well, I think that's why Josh's brain kind of changed real fast when he came up and looked at who it was. And he's like, well, this would be bad if it's a little guy.
Yeah.
So he just makes his way to the free throw line.
But, we've talked of the maturation of Josh Heitfeldt. Sure. Also handling problems a lot different than he would have in the past in that time. Like I said, a little frustrated probably from not getting on the offensive end as much as he wants. And here's an opportunity where he did, and then the little guy, just basically said you're not going to make the basket, which I totally agree with. I think if you're going to foul, don't let him score, right? And I think Peter Smith did that, but sometimes emotions play a big part in the way you react.
Lohorn deep inside, blocked by Day, but they call it a foul.
If you let Dior alone Longhorn get that deep in the paint, either start pushing with your body. Austin went for the block. He was trying to set him up. But remember, when you block, if you go up straight and you block it, you'll probably not get the foul called on you. But you saw Austin swing at it, and usually official anticipates that, and that you're swatting, into the guy's space, and that's why I think the foul was called, and Longhorn goes to the free throw line.
Ira Brown checking in for Josh Heitfeld.
And probably a good substitution right now. Josh, missed his 2 free throws after that hard foul. Needs a little time to recuperate and get back into balance.
And Ira Brown checking in. He had 5 rebounds in that first half in only 7 minutes of play. He had more rebounds in that first half than any other player, and still in this game is tied for the game's lead in rebounding with 5.
Yeah, and Zags have a great rebounding margin, but right now the Dons hanging with them. 22 boards for the Dons and 27 for the Zags.
Actually, the last couple of trips, Heitfeld picked up a couple of boards as Brown earns the trip to the free throw line. So Heitfeld has 7 rebounds now.
Yeah.
But in that first half, Brown was the leader. Lohorn with 5 rebounds. Heitfeld with 7. And there's Ira Brown with 5. And it looks like Lohorn took a shot to the chops.
Well,
and our attention really has to turn towards Jeremy Pargo. Still yet to come out of the locker room. And obviously, if you're a Zag fan, some concern there, because I know that last possession, it was obvious that he jammed his thumb and he was in pain right away. Now was able to drive and put the shot to the rim, but we have not seen him since.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, I've had many of jammed fingers on my hands through basketball, and the thumb is the most important digit that you have. You just don't realize that if you ever jam your thumb or this kind of dislocate it, you realize how much it is valuable on your hand. And it's on Jeremy's right hand that it looked like the thumb got bent back.
(55-39), 16-point Gonzaga lead. There's Lohorn. Bolden bodying him up, spins to the baseline, shot away short. Day with the rebound.
Nice job by Matt Bolden. Didn't, overextend himself, stayed behind Dior and just made him take a tough shot.
Bolden drives and a chance for 3. And there you see the strength of Matt Bolden, able to finish that play when contact is made.
Yeah, and he let the contact come to him, absorb it, and then continue to go up. Too many times guys, try to fade away or draw the contact too much. That time Matt did a superb job. And I love the defensive effort on Lohorn on that one. Again, hey, he's at a disadvantage. Lohorn's obviously taller than him, but just make him take a tough shot. And that's exactly what he did.
And Jeremy Pargo just back out on the bench, and there you see the wrap on that left thumb.
I'm sorry, I said right-handed. It is his left thumb, yeah.
Either way, for a point guard who distributes the ball at the level that he does, that's not good news for Gonzaga. Wallace inside. And a foul called on Austin Day. So Day picks up foul number 3. That's 6 on Gonzaga this half.
Let's see. Yeah, his hand's a little bit on him. He went straight up, but oh!
I'm never going to get down on emotion when it's displayed on the basketball court. I just love it. The kid cares, doesn't think he's fouled him, so he reacts. Heitfeld gets angry at one end of the floor. He comes up angry. I think it's great. I love seeing emotion.
Yeah,
it means they care.
They do care, but
whether it's well placed or not, Elo, I can laugh at it.
Well, they say if there's no blood, no foul, right? So.
And what did you say the first 2 games, Portland and Santa Clara? It is the West Coast Conference, the WCC.
It's raw.
And Pargo back out on the floor now with that wrap on his thumb.
And dribbling with it.
Yeah, we'll see how this affects him. He's a tough kid. Jeremy Pargo might be the toughest kid this program's ever had, Greg.
From the streets of Chicago, his upbringing was a nice upbringing, but there's still some hard times there. But yeah, he is one of the toughest people I know.
Bolden, 3 ball, good! Matt Bolden starting to get it going. He's got 10.
Yeah, Matt pretty quiet through most of the night, but the last couple of possessions, You know, he missed some shots early on, but, you know, the mark of a good shooter is, like we said, don't stop shooting, and Matt's picked his spots tonight.
Calerio with it, the freshman, and he traveled. Turnover USF, turnover number 12. And it's timeout on the floor. Matt Bolden turned 21 today. 4 of 9 shooting, 10 points, couple of rebounds, and 3 assists. He takes us to break. Bolden has scored the last 6 for Gonzaga. And Jeremy Pargo back out on the floor. Despite the thumb injury there on his left hand, you can see the wrap. It'll be interesting to watch how that affects his game here from here on out. But as I said, Pargo is a tough hombre now. And he did grow up in Chicago, but he's always credited his toughness to his mother, Charlie Mae Pargo. As Micah Downs thought that he saw somebody over there on the edge and threw it out of bounds. Nobody was there. As we take a look at the scoreboard here in the West Coast Conference, St. Mary's with the big, well, soon to be big win, and San Diego playing Loyola Marymount as well. Quezada inside, shot was blocked by Stephen Gray. Did I see that score right by St. Mary's?
You sure did.
And gets Pepperdine.
Pepperdine is struggling against St. Mary's, and St. Mary Gales are on their way to their 14th straight win, which is, I believe, breaks the school record.
73-32.
We've been in a few of those with Gonzaga and some WCC opponents.
This is Chris O'Brien, number 5. Gonzaga heads to Los Angeles next week. Pepperdine and Loyola Marymount, Thursday, Saturday games. If you're in Spokane, you can watch them here. And now a foul called inside. Micah Downs picks it up, his second. That's 6 on Gonzaga this half.
Yeah, it was an unusual post defense on Micah Downs. Usually you come from the top side of the round in front of the post. That time Micah started on the baseline, and by doing that he had to actually put his arm around Morgan, and when he tried to go for the deflection, it's called an armbar. Armbar hold. Remember, this is the WCC.
Manny tries and draws the free throws. So Quezada averaging 11 points a game this season. And right now he's sitting at 7. And Micah Downs picks up 2 quick ones. He's got 3 for the game. And USF now in the bonus. That's 7 against GU. And Quezada, the 84% free throw shooter, misses. Downs out, Day in.
You know, it was an unusual start of the second half of the last game against Santa Clara. Remember, the Zags picked up 7 quick team fouls, in the first 5 minutes. And usually when you get a big lead, you kind of get complacent on the defense and you don't do it. But it actually sparked the Zags that they had so many fouls in that first few minutes of the last half.
Gray now 0 for 3 from behind the arc. Lowhorn down low, missed it. Bolden with the rebound. No one there for USF to rebound on that trip.
Very quick shot from the post that just caught the ball.
Day, great look to Gray. Missed the shot. Rebound by O'Brien. And this is Vaughn in the open floor to Wallace. Fake the 3, drive, got it to Lowhorn at the free throw line. Gray tried to strip it away. O'Brien picks it up. And there's 20 on the shot clock with just over 10 minutes to play. Oh, another block by Day. You got to be a little more creative than that, Dior Lowhorn, when you go at Day.
Yeah, and if he ever thinks about going to the next level, that's definitely a great point, Greg. You got to come up with something in there to get the ball up.
Ira Brown with another rebound, and then he traveled. Lost his headband, too.
That's the second time, but look at Austin Day just timing it perfectly and getting the arm straight up, and then again, you know, one of the greatest shot blockers in the history of the game went to USF, right?
Bill Russell.
Bill Russell. 55, 56 teams, went undefeated, won 2 national championships and 12 championships with the Boston Celtics. Always kept the ball in play.
Off a block.
Off of a block.
I said, why block it if it's going to go into the seats? The fans love it, but you don't get possession.
What's more important?
Possession.
Pleasing the fans or getting a possession?
Well, I know in your case, if you were going to wear that mullet, it was all about the fans, Hilo.
Yeah.
Because I know they love that.
No. It was about the possession.
There's Vaughn inside, left that short. And he's fouled by James Morgan. There's Bill Russell, one of the great players in the history of the game.
And a great person today still. I mean, I love talking to him. He's very knowledgeable about the game. Even today, he's up to date on everything. And, you know, that's the other thing, the 56 Olympic gold. I mean, not too many guys have, you know, 2 championships, NCAA champion, NBA, Olympics.
That was the great thing about Boston winning it last year, is that we got to see Bill Russell a lot. Pargo, bounce pass to Gray. Pargo inside strong. That thumb isn't hurting him at all, is it?
No, he didn't hesitate at all about taking that right at the big man, James Morgan.
USF with just 1 field goal in the last 7 minutes and 20 seconds. Morgan spins and is blocked by Heitfeld. Gonzaga's interior defense has been phenomenal.
You know, I know it was Morgan, but he actually saw Lowhorn get his shot blocked, so you should learn from that, right? Fool me once.
Oh, my word. They call an offensive foul on Josh Heitfeld. Say that he used the arm to clear out. He was clearly held on the play. And Heitfeld could only smile and go to the other end.
And that's what you want to see. You don't want to see a reaction. And you know, that's the coach's job. And Coach View's over there politicking like he should for that foul. And yeah, he's being held. Yep, that one got away.
It's a tough job, Hilo. There's the feed down low. Great catch and finish by a Hyman Taylor. Where's he been? 6'9" junior out of Fort Lauderdale. Now there's some hops.
You talk about vertical. It didn't even see any court action in the first half, or just that's his first show right there.
Yeah, this is the first time he's been in the game. I mean, he's got great energy. He's playing defense right now with that great energy. And Heitfeld with a rebound. Left hand finish by Heitfeld.
Nice step through.
Give Josh credit, Craig. He was 0 for 2 in that first half. The offense wasn't going. And in the second half, he's been working his tail off.
Yeah, consummate team player. I mean, he just takes what's given to him, and he hasn't forced anything on the offensive end. It's all been working hard on that end.
Gonzaga basketball. Heitfeld now with 6 points and 8 rebounds. 7:29 to play. You see the block here. And then the offense here splits the defenders and finishes with his left hand. 65-44. 7:29 to play in Spokane. There's David Pendergraft. Played at Gonzaga 2005 to 2008. And he is a tough guy, Craig. He brought great toughness. Kind of one of those glue guys. Did it all for Mark Few. And now we take a look at the G-fence.
Yeah. I mean, look at that, plus 15-9 first. That's scoring mark. That's how bad they beat teams. And the field goal defensive percentage is impressive, too, at 37. It's good enough for 11th in the country out of 330 schools. Steals, they're causing it because they get up and they pressure the basketball 94 feet. Got 7.5. And the best thing from those steals is they've been converting those steals into what? Points.
And they've got 8 blocks, Craig. Lob pass Downs from Goodson. Wow. Wow, did Micah Downs get up there?
Well,
he's got to be careful. He's going to break his nose.
You're giving everybody these 44, 56-inch
you know,
verticals.
For a guy who can't get off his heels,
you enjoy that.
I marvel at that.
You marvel at that. How about that play, though? Drawn up on the bench, come out of timeout, and execute it to perfection by the Zags. And a great pass by Meach to get Micah Downs way above the rim.
And I don't know if you heard what I said right before that block, as Heitfeld almost had another one, or right before that dunk, but 8 blocks.
8 blocks, that's a lot of shots being taken away from you on one end. And That's what I said. They went like twice right at the big guys, Heifeld and Day. So, you know, a nice follow.
Yeah, great follow by Day. Heifeld really looking for his offense now.
And that's
Austin
all it
Day
takes.
just tied his career high with points.
And all it takes is one shot to get you going, basically. And I think Josh got that early on, and he started being a little more aggressive on the offensive end. But he knows he doesn't have to do it every night.
That shot is off by Calerio.
Don't you just love where the Zags outlet the basketball to? Right at midcourt. So if any opportunity to make a break, it's right there. You want the outlet to be around midcourt.
There's Goodson on the baseline out today. This is for career high, and he has it, 25. Austin Day has the potential to really tear up the West Coast Conference, Greg.
Yeah, you and I have talked about that, and I totally agree with you. I think
he's the toughest matchup in the league because of
size,
his skill and his size.
Skill's a great word, too. You're exactly right. Well, he has just a plethora of shots. I mean, he can take you inside, outside. You know, he's a good free throw shooter. I mean, although his percentage says he's not, I would still trust him at the free throw line if he goes there anytime.
Travel called there. Day with 25 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 blocks. Those are numbers, ladies and gentlemen.
That's activity. That's good. You want activity.
Or, I mean, those are numbers, or, you know, it's activity.
Yeah.
However you want to look at it.
You like that. When you see those kind of things, if guys can fill up the box score, that's the things you want. Some of the intangible stuff. And I think he's changed a lot of shots tonight, too, even though he hasn't blocked them.
And he's calling for the ball right now. Lob underneath, but nobody was there. Goodson, I think, was looking for Heifeld.
You know, I don't think we put enough credence where credence is due. Is Nick Ravio came in, what, 4th leading scorer in the conference, and Portland held him to 9 points. Right now, you got the #1 scorer and the man with the basketball, Lohorn, at 20. He's only got 14 right now with 4 minutes to go.
And they did a job on John Bryant the other night as well.
Oh, it took him completely out of the game.
Mr. Double-Double himself.
He still got his double-double,
but it was right around his average.
Yep.
They did not allow him to get going. And that's the thing about the West Coast Conference. Each team has a star player. For that team to win at Gonzaga, that star player has to double his average.
Double it.
I mean, they got to come in here and have the game of their life, and then somebody on the bench has to get hot from behind the arc.
Someone has to
their
help
only
out
chance.
Just a little bit. You're right, yeah. But, you know, I wish there was a stat because now I knew a lot of guys when I played. Like John Bryant gets 12 rebounds a game. I bet you 6 of them come off of free throws, which you don't have to really do a lot, right? So I've always thought, well, they should have a stat for rebounding on free throws and during the game, because during the game is when it changes. I mean, don't get me wrong, you need to get all the rebounds on the missed free throws too, but I never liked that because they would never let me get rebounds when I played, you know, on the free throw line. They always kicked me off, made me go to half court. I could have padded my stats, you know.
And they needed it, believe me. Gonzaga on a 11-2 run, and Goodson now makes it 13-2.
Sneaky Meach went right through a bunch of Dons and got himself a layup.
And now it's a 30-point lead. Gonzaga was down 14-4 to start the game.
And 2 shots. 2 3-pointers.
So since then, since that 14-4 start, they have outscored San Francisco 72-32. They have outscored them by 40, Craig, since then. And Ira Brown wanted block number 9 and instead gets the foul. 3:27 to play. Goodson, Mike it down. We'll be back. Lead now at 30, 76-46. And Austin Day is tonight's group health find more minutes impact player of the game. He's sitting there with 25 points, 9 rebounds, 3 blocks on 10 of 14 shooting. There's nothing like a great game to get your blood pumping. Group Health Cooperative reminds fans that exercise, like cheering for the Zags, is the key to healthier living. Group Health, proud sponsor of the Gonzaga Bulldogs. And we've probably seen Austin Day for the last time, so he's not going to get his double-double.
I know what your problem is now.
I got a problem?
Yeah, clean life, good health, all that stuff is exercise and cheering for the Zags.
Right.
You don't cheer for the Zags. What's wrong with you?
I don't cheer for the Zags?
No, you do it all. That's why you're in such healthy.
That's why I'll live forever, is that what you're saying?
Yes. You know, I don't think, well, Lauren's got 3 minutes to get it. You know, this guy's Mr. Consistent for the Dons. I mean, 48 of the 49 games at USF, he's been in double-digit scoring. His career high is only 30, so it's not like he's he's going to bust out and get you 40 because he's got all these moves and stuff, but he'll get you 20 night in and night out.
Ball kicked there, and so to stay with Gonzaga, as Mark Few goes to the bench, Will Foster comes in, along with Dimitri Goodson and Andrew Sorensen, and Dior Lohorn goes to the bench for USF, so he is not going to get to his average in rebounding or total points. 15 and 5.
And it wasn't like he had a bad game.
No, he averages 20 points and 6 rebounds there.
No, he's 6 of 13, 1 of 1 from 3, and he only missed 2 free throws. So I think you just say, hey, Zags.
Gonzaga's defense did a great job on it.
Did a great job denying him the basketball, taking looks away from him.
Foster with another block, number 9. Of course, when you're 7'5", it's almost unfair. Sorensen with another 3. Can you believe that? That's all that guy does is shoot threes, and all he does is make them.
Yeah. 6 career field goals now, and all 6 from behind the arc. You know, I got on him last year when he had all those zeros on the stat sheet. Yeah, he said, it'll never happen again, Mr. Elo. He said, Mr. Elo? What is that?
Sorensen 6 of 10 for his career from behind the arc.
Yeah, all of them behind. Look at that, 60%.
There you see the field goal defense by Gonzaga. Portland 33%, Santa Clara 36%, and tonight 33%. That continues, Craig, and this team will live up to its potential.
And you can say, well, the other teams don't have good shooters. That's wrong. When you knock down teams that are shooting 47% like Portland came in here and held them to 32, you're playing defense. You're contesting shots. You're closing out on the drivers, and you're making it difficult to get the ball into the paint where the higher percentage shots comes from.
Yeah, Portland was the best shooting team in the West Coast Conference. Ira Brown cleans it up. Foster had the shot blocked. And Ira Brown now in the scorebook with points. He's got 5 and 8 or 7 points now and 8 rebounds.
You know, you speak of traditions, and USF obviously one of the best traditions in WCC. I mean, through the 50s, you know, they lead the league right now in 16 appearances, but look who's chasing them very quickly. 11 appearances by GU, so the shoe's on the other foot in a different era of time.
Add some excitement to your weekends by purchasing the Gonzaga Women's Basketball Weekend 4-pack for only $25. Call 509-313-6000 to reserve your seat today.
Gavin heard my mention the other night that I had $5 saved up for that package.
Gavin, your son.
Yeah, my 12-year-old, he donated $5 out of his piggy bank, so I'm up to 10.
Piggy bank. Micah Downs, 15 points, 2 rebounds, 4 of 9 shooting. He's to the bench. Chris Ponderola-Mogg, a walk-on from Quincy, Washington, into the game for Gonzaga. Goodson driving. Lob to Foster, and the finish.
How about the crossover on a senior? Manny just went for the bait, and Meach crossed him over, and then made a heck of a pass to Will Foster. Good catch, Will, too. That was a tough.
Sure was. Smith won't get the roll. Foster with the rebound. So Will here with 4 rebounds in the last 2 minutes of this game. Goodson driving. That shot is blocked by Taylor into the corner. And the shot away and no good by Vaughn. Under 30 to play.
I'm going to question you here now. You hear the students behind us. They got their keys out. They're rattling them.
Does that mean game over with, start the bus?
It does mean that.
Okay.
Gonzaga gets to 3-0 in the West Coast Conference. USF is 0-4. So when this game is over, those watching on KHQ, don't go anywhere. We'll come back to wrap it up, maybe even get an interview, who knows. And for those on KHQ, those on FSN, I should say, we're going to go back to the studio. Take it away, Nicole and Francis.
Oh, Craig knows better than that. You never call a woman by the wrong name. He's a happily married man. Hi, everybody. Angie Mentank alongside our FSN basketball insider, Francis Williams. We are getting ready for tip-off in Corvallis. The Washington Huskies and Oregon State Beavers are up next here on FSN.